Good morning from Two Rivers Books and Weird Sisters Yarn. This is Jen. I'm here with Zipporah and Farnell from Reading is Resistance. Before we jump in, they've got an exciting full day of showing us how to use their resources.
Look.
Did our internet go out again?
Probably. Our internet today. Hi, our internet today. I don't know what's happening.
While they figure out what's going on with them for a moment, updates on what's going on at the shop. We have Teresa Pridemore from the Portland Tarot deck and the Oracle. She makes tarot cards. They're gorgeous. They're local. She's a local artist. She's going to be on our sidewalk in front of the shop on Saturday today from noon to 4. On Saturday this week from noon to 4. So be sure to stop by and check out her stuff. We also still have the Dye Project, which started in Portland but has now moved to Santa Cruz. They're going to be partnering with us for a virtual trunk show next Saturday and Sunday, and donating 10% of the proceeds to food equity in Portland in conjunction with our Sunday event, which is a panel we're calling Food for Justice. It's a collection of Portland area food equity activists and advocates who are going to be coming together and having a conversation about what food equity is, what's happening in Portland, what some of the legalities are around it that help and hinder, and what some of the next steps might look like. So we've got a really exciting next couple of weekends coming up. Those are going to be the trunk shows the 22nd and 23rd, and the food equity talk is on the 23rd. So yeah, some exciting stuff coming up. With that, I am going to hand it over to Zipporah and Farnell.
Yay! Thanks for having us again. Good morning, friends. For our Instagram friends, we're live on Crowdsource and also on Facebook, so you can see us more appropriately that way. It's Thursday.
And we're 4 days, we're on day 4 of our kids going back to school. So, yeah, day 3 was kind of rough for someone. Someone had a really hard day 3.
It was me.
And,
I had a rough day 3, people.
The
school.
When you're trying to balance a family and with various individuals with anxieties and different things and kind of trauma, school trauma and things like that, it could be kind of tiring and such. And then yeah,
it's real.
But it's part of working and parenting.
It is. If you don't know, I'm Zipporah Newton-Calvert, and I'm co-founder with this gentleman, my partner, of Reading is Resistance. And our mission is to support parents and teachers in creating anti-bias, anti-racist reading experiences and libraries in order for those to see deeper conversations and action around racial justice. So that's our project. It's not our job. It's just something we do for fun. So we're here to talk about it today. Yay! Farnell doesn't know much about what I've been concocting at my computer, so I'm going to share.
Much. I'm here for support and
Yeah. So I am an educator as well as doing this project, Reading is Resistance. I teach at Portland State University, and I teach a class called Social Justice in K-12 Education. We partner with local education organizations and schools and support programs that promote and forward racial justice in schools. And since the pandemic, we've been doing everything remotely because we can't go to schools. So my students and I have been writing a bunch of really awesome content and learning about anti-bias frameworks and putting together some great things that we really believe will support parents and teachers to be part of, like, for school to be and home to be part of the social justice, racial equity uprising right now, and to make it easier to read in a critical way and build some skills for our kids so we can all do this better future.
Yeah, definitely. And I think this is very important for raising kids who can know more of who they are and what other people experience in the world, and just make them a better whole person. I feel like if I would have had these type of books and people to work with, a framework, it wouldn't be as much as a struggle growing up in our day and time.
For sure. This kind of reading helps build vocabulary, just like comfort in having conversations that might get challenging or might be really celebratory, learning about our identities. So today I wanted to take some time and showcase the resources because I'm really excited about them. The school term at Portland State is just coming to an end, and my students have written some amazing, beautiful things through picking own voices books that resonate with their own experience and their racial or ethnic identity. And we have some students who've been editing and some students who've been testing with their kiddos to see like how the content actually works. So I feel like we've had this really holistic, well-rounded experience to put together these resources. So I am excited to show them. I've also been writing some of them, and you'll see those on the site as well. We've just launched our picture book content, and we also have our collection of middle reader content up with more to come. Early chapter books are on their way. We've got one sneak peek, and then we have some YA content, actually a bunch that's coming soon. So we wanted to show you. I'm actually going to screen share for those on Crowdcast and on Facebook Live to show you a little bit about our site, which has been kind of exciting. I'm learning how to do technology things, and Farnell's helping me. It's good to have that person in your life.
Yes.
So I'm going to maybe try to do this. Share this. You are screen sharing. Whoa. I'm screen sharing us in infinity.
There you go.
I am now screen sharing for those of you on Instagram, readingisresistance.com. On our homepage, first of all, I have an amazing former student named Jessica who has been volunteering to make our website and our social media amazing, and she's been teaching me and other students how to do this work.
Yeah,
we could not do this without her. So it's always important to do the work in community because this is beautiful. And she's helped me brainstorm a lot of fun things that I don't think I would have tried. Like even doing this live stuff, I would never have done. So live stuff. She hasn't got me over to Twitter yet, but it might happen. So this is our Reading is Resistance website. It's so pretty. I love it. And if you look on the site, you can see on the homepage, there's actually a link right to our lesson plans there. There's events that are upcoming, resources. We just made a video of how to use our lesson plans. Farnell and I made it together. Farnell mostly made it.
Yeah. It's pretty funny recording people.
We recorded.
A lot of giggles and laughs. And
I think he means maybe. I don't know what funny means, but I had to stop and start a lot. I'm not a voiceover expert. So anyway, so check that out because it will show how to use our lesson plans, which is super exciting. Actually, it shows here our blog where we talk about all sorts of fun stuff. So I wanted to mostly focus on the resources tab today. We just sort of restructured it. And this again is, the idea is that we have resources here that are specifically for parenting people and teaching people to easily access and do work through an anti-bias, anti-racist framework. So these lesson plans aren't about like vocabulary. I mean, you will build vocabulary, but they're not about like whatever normal teaching standards are. These are really focused on building a social justice vocabulary, understanding about your own identity, and then building up being able to be anti-racist in your life as a practice. So let's check out picture books. I'm clicking on it right now. So we have two sections in our picture book collection. One is early, these are both early childhood, but one is read and listen. We have this really cool jazz guy. Some of you might know him. His name's Noah. What? He plays trumpet.
Simpson.
Noah Simpson.
Yeah. And actually, trumpet. If you're local, we're both going to be performing at New Seasons later this month. I'm doing one day, and Noah is performing the other day.
Nice. Okay. So Noah is a great trumpet player. He was my student at PSU for a term. He has good hair. He coaches our student. He coaches Quincy about hair.
Yeah.
It's important to have a community.
And I got him in the class, even though he was late.
That's right. So anyway, we have some read and listen. So Noah curated some beautiful playlists that go with a bunch of picture books. So you can read the book, listen to the playlist. This playlist that he made goes with the book Dreamers by Yuyi Morales, and it is beautiful. And it has, there's a YouTube read aloud of the book here, and then there's a whole playlist that you can check out on YouTube or Spotify. And it has a bunch of songs that you can listen to there or that go with the theme of the book. It's really beautiful. It's beautiful to just listen to. Like, you don't even have to have the book, but it's also cool to have the book and music experience together. So that is something pretty unique that we're offering. Under picture books, we also have something we're calling Read and Discuss. I'm going to click on Separate is Never Equal, a very popular read and discuss right now. And so each lesson plan has a PDF that you can download. So if you need to print it out, I actually have some here for my Instagram folks. PDF that you can click on. What, they are?
No, you're sharing your screen. Okay, never mind.
I don't think you can see me. No. Okay, so an introduction, and then it shows the author. So this content was written by Sophia, who's also taking my class right now, and she is brilliant, amazing, future educator. Children will be lucky to have her as teacher. YouTube read aloud summary, and the teaching tolerance standards that we use to connect into the AIS learning. And then there's discussion questions, and they show what domain of learning we're learning about. So in this book, do you know what segregation is? That could start a huge conversation, just that question.
Yeah, with kids.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, with adults too.
Picture books are for adults too. All adults should do this content. Just start here and then work your way up. And then how would you define segregation? And then there's more questions about how would you feel if you weren't allowed to go to a school because of how you look or because of how people assume you speak. So these are all connected into the kinds of learning we need to do to be anti-bias in our lives. And then there's some activities and resources, additional resources for parents and teachers to do with their kiddos. There's usually there's something that's art related or writing related, and then what to read next. So you can just keep the learning going. So that's our picture book content. I'm just also going to show there's early reader. We have new content that I was writing last night, finishing. It's really special. Dragons in a Bag by Zeta Elliott. She's amazing. And so this is an early chapter book. This book's about 100 pages long or so. So shorter chapters. And this also has discussion questions for kiddos. Then we also have our middle reader content. We have examples, Bayou Magic by Jewel Parker Rhodes, How to Make Friends with the Sea, and Front Desk, which we love all of these books by Kelly Yang. Coming soon is A Wish in the Dark. I'm reading that book right now, and it's so good. It's by Christina Soontornvat, and she has written a beautiful book that is set in kind of like an imagined Thailand, and it's about just the justice system, but it's definitely for kids and adults. It's about what justice really is, and one kid realizing that the rules and laws aren't necessarily just because she sees another kid experiencing them in an unjust way. So read A Wish in the Dark with your kids. It's so good. These middle reader lesson plans, most come with videos as well that you could use with your kiddos. This has videos of our kiddo, Vera, being cute, learning stuff. She's read all of these books and helps design the questions and tell me if they sound like something a kid would actually respond to. So that's helpful. We have summary and video, discussion questions divided up for each section of the book. And so again, these are printable as well as clickable. And you could use these, you get this book. How would it work? Our kid wants to say, "Hi, I want to read Ways to Make Sunshine." Kid wants to read Ways to Make Sunshine. We're making content on that right now. And you'd look on our website and you would see that there's content on this book with a summary and discussion questions that are ready to go for your kiddo or your classroom. So, and they've all been vetted, they've been edited, they've been looked at so that they go with the teaching tolerance standards. Does that even make sense?
Yes.
Really?
I mean,
would you find that useful as a parent?
Yeah, I would find it. If I was a teacher, I would find it, because a lot of times, you get these books and such, and you're like, well, what are you going to talk about? How can you approach it in a way of, talking about justice and diversity and inclusion and such. So it's already there and helpful for them. I mean, I was a professor, but not with little kids. But no, at the same time, this people needs to be happening. And I feel like every field, even as a music professor, there's ways to bring this into teaching to kids and talking about music and the history and such. So
yeah. It also showcases or models a way that you could make your own lesson plans for your own content that you're working on with your class. I have found that as an instructor person, I have learned a lot just by putting the lessons together. I was doing content for this book, Dragons in a Bag, which I just talked about. This is an early chapter book by Zeta Elliott. I don't know why I'm saying it like that. And she's written a ton of books. I actually just listened to a podcast of hers, and she talks a lot about the lack of Black authors in the fantasy genre. So she likes to write things that are a little bit fantastical, maybe historical fiction, or this has dragons, which are obviously not real, or are they? Anyway, and she talks about access to publishing. She actually has published a lot of her own books because publishing companies didn't want to, and her writing, she was like, I'm just going to get it out there anyway. Like, who cares what they want? Yeah. And
well, you have to.
Yeah. So this one I think was more mainstream, but a lot of her books were published, just self-published. Anyway, so I was reading this book, and it is a fantastical narrative. This kiddo gets dropped off at this woman's house, and he finds out she's a witch, and something's rattling around in her kitchen. He thinks it's lizards at first, but it turns out that it's dragons, and that they have to get taken back to the magical realm. It's really good. It also, though, has history of, it's set in Brooklyn. It talks about gentrification a little bit, like the history of the area, the magical realm and the real realm. The elders also talk about a little bit about segregation and about what separation feels like.
It's like the precursor to Bitterroot Comic.
Yeah, it's a gateway book. Yes,
in Harlem, who are fighting demons and protecting the realms and things like that.
Yeah,
by David Walker.
It's part of that family tree. There's a tree in this book called it's a tree from Madagascar. It's the tree of life. It's like the baobab tree or something. Okay. So I'm making content for this book. It should be no surprise, but I'm making one for this book. And I'm like, okay, this tree is so beautiful. The stories about this tree, the tree of life, that it's the young boy and the grandparent figure are walking together under these trees. It's very symbolic and beautiful. These trees also, in terms of the ecosystem, there's so much rich information to learn about these trees, like how they're connected, how they're endangered, and then also what the story of Tree of Life is really rich and beautiful. So I'm looking up information with my teacher mind, okay, I'm going to find a resource I can share with other people to learn more about these trees. Everything that I found, well, I don't know. Can you guess what I found when I Googled the trees? They're from Madagascar.
No.
You can't? Okay. I know. Well, I didn't know either, but
I don't know much about Madagascar.
Well, it's in Africa.
Yeah, of course.
And it has these trees. I don't know much about it either. So that's why I was Googling it. But guess what I found? All of the content was filtered through a total colonist lens. It was either safari companies. Oh. It was zoo type places that were sketchy. It was one place I thought was good. It was a Save the Tree place, but it ended up that it was a little bit weird, and it was white people who founded a school, and it has question marks for me. So everything was very I couldn't find anything from people in Madagascar about their own trees.
Wow.
Through Google, I went deep. I know that the information is out there, but this just reminds me that we all have to work together to make that information what we share. So I like didn't share anything about that tree because I was like, I'm not sharing this stuff. This is gross. Like, I don't want to go through that lens. So I will continue to look for information about the tree in the area, but I want to hear it from people who actually live there. And it just reminded me of how filtered our information is and how much time we need to put in to really like decolonize the learning. Just that experience I had just last night doing the content for this book. So you're gonna have lots of revelations and moments where you're like, I need other people and we need to figure out this tree situation. So if anyone wants to work with me on researching Own Voices content on trees of Madagascar, let me know. Love to do something on it. Learning a lot. Anything else that we should talk about with our, this is the lesson plans, teachers and parents. I hope that you will use them, check them out, ask questions. I am super available to answer questions, to brainstorm. If there's a book you really want content on, I love to make the content and have my students make the content. Thank you to all the students who've been making such beautiful content. When you go to that picture book page, that is all student created content. And they have their stories woven in with the content and like how each person relates to the books that they've chosen. So it's not random. It's like very personal and very connected work, which I think also makes what we're doing unique and beautiful. I see my kiddo making a rat face through the glass door right now.
Must be snack time.
It must be snack time. I think it is. So a couple of recommendations. Check out the website. Let us know if you have questions. If you want to do a partnership with your classroom or with your homeschool unit or whatever, we're really open to that. I have 30 students a term who are really smart, curious, interested people who want to help write, and so do I. So we're here for that. If you want to volunteer with us, we'd also love you. That would be cool.
Any new books you've gotten recently? I mean,
what do you mean?
We have like books,
No.
boxes and boxes of books.
I don't know what you're talking about. Well, next week we're going to do some showcases of some of the new books. This is the one that I was talking about, A Wish in the Dark, that I'm reading right now, which did come out this year, and I 100% love very much. Ha'ong is the main character and I love him. I can actually showcase a couple of the YA content pieces that are going to come out really soon that my students are either turned in yesterday or got an extension for and are turning in soon. One group read Patron Saints of Nothing by Randy Rebay, which is a really great book. Another group read Hearts Unbroken. And I don't know if we have any of the other books. A bunch of students read Stamped, so we're going to have some content coming out about like that can lead you through reading Stamped and talking about it with a group of kids, which I think will be really good. There's some new books that we're going to show you next week that we're really into and excited about. There's always stacks of books. Maybe.
Always stacks of books.
Yes.
Yes.
Very important part of our life. My life.
Hopefully lots of people's lives.
Yes. And please buy books independently and keep showing love for the library. There's a lot of talk right now about cutting library staff and funding, and like that is not what we need right now. So please write. I did. It took a couple minutes. Please write, because we need our libraries and we need our independent bookstores. So just do everything you can to support.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for the chat. That looks like some fantastic content. I've still got the questions and conversations stuff from A Song Below Water on my list of things to look at. I took a brief glance earlier on. I need to look back at it and actually have that conversation with my kid. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think that's a really good, I've talked with multiple people about that sort of over time because the little pieces come up again. So let me know how that goes. And thank you so much for having us again. We'll see everybody next week.
Absolutely. See you all soon. Bye.
Bye.